like two separate views going on, possibly. One, if they decide to do portrait, they're going to get you and me kind of smushed there together. And then if they decide they don't want that, then they're going to be in landscape mode or portrait mode.
Okay, I can see it.
Landscape mode, and yeah, you can see that. So I think this is something new that they're putting out in the land of Restream. Not certain what the deal is. Kind of happy about it though, because it looks new. Did you game this weekend? Have you gamed this week at all?
Beyond my usual playing of BattleTech and enjoying a bit of more talking about Traveler than actually playing it, but yeah, those are my games I've been playing this week because the D&D game is currently stalled out due to the GM working inhuman hours.
Okay, so you have my problem during the week. That's awesome. Not really.
Yeah. Well, she went into work at 7 a.m. and left home 3 days this week at 11 o'clock at night. So, yeah, those are some pretty heavy hours. So,
no one up, as we say.
Yeah.
Are you a crafting gamer? How you doing, sir?
Hey, crafting.
I really want to know if you ever thought when we got the 1999 release for 3.0, as a GM, what did you notice about it? Do you remember? Because up to that point, we had second edition from 1988. Do you understand kind of where I'm going with this, or do I need to add more context?
No, you don't.
Okay.
Honestly, at the time, it was a bit of a... Yeah. I think it was just one of those... The game was already heading in that direction. And since the group that I was playing with had already adopted all the players' option books from AD&D Second, like we had already been playing that for a couple of years, and so we were already used to way more options, and we had already been playing with that. So honestly, the third edition change was not unwelcomed, nor was it a bad thing. Plus, we had the primer book for Diablo 2, which was probably one of the best books to lead into what we eventually got, because it gave us the infinite loot generator, which is the one thing that at the time we realized that's kind of what we're playing the game for. But it also was that first hint of, this is what it was. I mean, it really didn't ruin things. It just kind of pushed them in a direction that we were already kind of going. And yeah, that's kind of what how I looked at it. And I think the fact that we had towards the tail end was, it was also hitting at a point when we were playing a lot of different games that were arguably better. And we were enjoying those a good deal more, because D&D was this thing where we played it because it was kind of a palate cleanser. It's like when you eat the pickled ginger when you're doing like sushi, where you play a good game and then you play a palate cleanser game, which is disposable, and then you play another game that was better.
Yeah, I get this.
And D&D at that point, because in 98, 99, like 97, 98, we had one player who had the entire Encyclopedia Magica, every spell ever written for D&D in several tomes. And then we had every magic item, the encyclopedia of every magic item ever made for second edition in every tome. And we had all the players' handbook, all the class handbooks. So we had kits out the ass. And then we had players' options. And to the point where if we wanted to play D&D, it was just kind of like none of us, in the late 90s, my group of friends, which at that point my gaming group was about 14 to 15 people. And on average, you can get about 7 to 8 at the table at any one time. And at some points, it ballooned upwards to 14 to 17 people. So it was a club, and we were part of a bigger, greater club, which was the game rooms crowd. So we were kind of like a satellite group of people playing in people's homes, and then we also played at the game room, and we had a lot of games. So we really didn't. I don't have that dedication to it. D&D was the one true faith to all gaming, because we had. I had a regular BattleTech game at that point. I was playing around with heavy gear. We were experimenting with Alternity. We were playing Rifts by the fucking boatload. We had Mountains of Rifts books at the time because we were
1999. 1999. Remember 1999 whenever they started shoving out the Rifter magazine?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, that right there was like the moment where I thought, this is where this completely eclipses Dragon Magazine, and it turns Rifts into one of the top 2 played RPGs out there. And I seriously thought that was going to happen, because the Rifter got so much traction where I was buying my stuff at. There were people buying like 4 copies for a table of 12 Palladium players. And there were people that would go to a game with 12 players and they would expect to get quality game time, which they didn't, of course. Too many people, one table. But holy cow, they really like loaded up the Rifter. The first 6 issues of that were just amazing. Yeah. And if you're going to do a fanzine for any game, the Rifter first 6 issues, bam, there you go. There's your cut, print, and just repeat. Just keep that formula. It worked. ADD Plays, how you doing, man? I really played the shit out of Rifts in 97 and 98.
Yeah.
Because they had come out with the Lone Star book, which I was pretty okay with. Lone Star Coalition looked cool. And then, like, the biggest disappointment I've ever seen, which was the New West.
Yes.
And I hated that book. I wanted to like it, but there was nothing there. That was like the most vacant book I've ever seen from Palladium. And I've read a lot of Palladium books. That was probably the worst.
Yeah.
But we played a shit ton of Rifts from 97 to 99.
Oh, yeah.
And it was all Coalition War. And then it would go from the Coalition War, they would get captured by Atlanteans, and they would have to fight. And if they did well, they stayed in Atlantis. They did stuff all over the continent, and if not, they left. But we had so much fun. The one thing about Rifts, kind of parallels this because you have the release of D&D 3.0, and I never really had a problem with this until a friend of mine told me his issue with 3.0 and Pathfinder and all the stuff that followed. He's like, it completely traps you. And I'm like, what? And he's like, a D&D game after 1999 or written after 99, it completely traps you. You cannot play the game and enjoy it because now you're beholden to this table of players that have to be within 2 levels of each other or less for the campaign to continue. You can't have, like in the old days, if Timmy died and Timmy was an 8th level magic user, but at the table there was a 7th level paladin, 2 9th level fighters, a 7th level magician, there was a elf that was 6th level. You know, if you had all this stuff, and then Bob, you died, so now you get to play level 1. And Bob had to be kind of hidden from bad guys for X number of combats until Bob achieved like 4th level. Then we could let him get out and get a hit every once in a while and do stuff in melee. Most of the time, no, don't do that. But that was kind of how it was. But with 3rd edition, you really can't do that with 3rd edition because of how everything's engineered. If you bring a first level character into a fight where there's beholder's like hitting everybody with an eye ray, and then there's little Bob with no magic items, and he's there not suffering much in the anti-magic zone until the anti-magic zone ends because the beholder shut its eye. Fuck you, finger of death. Bah! No matter what, saving throw or not, 14 hit points or less, first level Bob is dead.
Right.
And you can't do that with a game after 1999. You just can't. And I almost had that happen with us tonight where I had a guy that he had put like 3 characters at less than 5 hit points each.
Yeah, I heard that part.
And I would have kept running the game even though there was only like 1 player left that was reasonably much higher than the rest of the party, but he or she would have inherited a bunch of like hirelings. And it would have gone from like a game of Dungeons and Dragons to like a skirmish tabletop game of Frostgrave, where you get your wizard that he's got like 2 or 3 hit points, and everybody else is 1 hit point mook. Quick, we got to stop the battlefield before the bad guys get here. And it would have been like that for like next 7 or 8 adventures. But luckily for the players, they did everything right. Of course, I have 2 players that are thieves that they can run in and jab somebody in half the time it takes somebody to swing an axe or a 2-handed sword.
Yeah. I'm not sure if, oh God. I can see the trap you're talking about, but I think the only reason why I would completely agree, I would agree with this, I'd go with it, is, sorry if I'm trying to formulate my thoughts on this, but it is how formulaic it became.
Yes. The entire fucking game. It's completely formulaic now, and it kind of sucks. Like, if you succeed, everybody must succeed or be able to come back at the end like a goddamn American mainstream movie, or everybody dies like a Japanese cinema. There's no nerdy. There's no in between. Hey, nerdy, how you doing, sir?
Yeah. Well, and on some parts, it really was an attempt to try to, I don't want to say fix, but address the issues that you had in the earlier editions, but it was just constantly this feel like you're just like refitting something that should have been retired at a certain point. Because I know that it can be fun, but I know that there's this element that it's been like this running. I don't want to say running gag, but it's just this feeling that what like if you're a martial character in older editions and hell any edition, you're the only one who fucking matters in martial because everyone else dies to you and everything. And if you're not the guy in the massive heavy armor, don't bother wearing clothes. You might as well just run around wearing, a dress or a robe because because the things that were designed to fight the fighter will eat you. That will be because if the fighter dies, gets beaten up, it doesn't matter what the fuck you were wearing for armor or guards or defense. You're going to be well, it's tissue paper to them. You die. So you kind of play around, and the thing is that, but you also realize the things that were designed to hurt the cleric are going to punch through your saving throws no matter what the fuck you do, and you realize, well, it kind of becomes this like rock paper scissor thing, and you kind of realize this is the threat meant for A, this is the threat meant for B, and this is the threat meant for C. And cleric, your job is just to stand in the back and dispense healing on command. I can do other things. No, you don't. Can I do other things? No, you can't. Well, yes, you can, but no, you don't. And so, if you at that point, like, well, what else do I do? And in older editions, it was simply, behold, hey, look, the undead. Finally, I have a value. Boom. I have no value anymore from this point forward. And so it's like, hey, we're going to fight undead. The only time the cleric can do anything besides heal. Yay. I know that there are other spells. I know they can do other things. But let's be brutally honest, this is what you fucking do because healing cleric is good cleric. Other cleric is only way you push the game towards a certain direction, and it works that way. And I know there's other ways to play, but the Squeeze of Priest exists for a fucking reason. White mages, healing priests, and healing clerics exist for a reason. And I know that the meta is, well, if we do maximum damage, the enemy can't hurt us, so we don't need to heal. And I know there's the problem of the healer can't keep up with the healing damage. And I know three addresses this by allowing you to memorize other spells and downgrade to heals, and it allows you to. And they got rid of turning and made it into channeling, so it's kind of better. It's kind of like it, but it kind of gives you an AOE heal. So your ability to be a healer works. I still have problems with the fact that healing is a touch spell. Fuck you. It needs to be a ranged spell. Damn it. But that's been a design problem I've had since 1999.
Okay, there are ways to extend it, but you must burn feats. Or you have to have a rod that allows you to extend the range of your spells.
Right. So you need an item or the thing that clerics don't have, feats.
Yeah.
But at the critical levels, when you need the spells to be able to reach, you don't have it. You just don't have it. And by the point that you have the access, you're way better and you don't need it. So it's one of those, when you needed it, you don't got it. And when you got it, you don't need it. And you pray your GM gives you a magic rod that allows you to do it 3 times per day. Yay. And it's one of those, but I've had this bugbear for close to 20 years now. I'm over 20 years now because since everyone knows who are the 2 primary targets, you're going to kill anyone in a group. Who are the 2 people you want to kill most as a GM? You kill the mage and you kill the cleric. Well, if the cleric is going to be helpful in combat, to help keep your priest, keep your fighter up, where does the cleric need to be? Within 5 feet of the fighter. What happens when you cast a spell within melee range? What do we like to throw at players at mid to higher level? Large creatures that have reach. What happens when you cast a spell when you're within reach? Oh, attack of opportunity. And so I'm going to go do my job. Ow, I didn't do my job. And boy, it would be cool if I could maybe heal you from outside being hit with a stick range. And since the game has a fundamental flaw of the fighter does not allow you to, just cannot stop someone from moving, or I can hit you with attack of opportunity if you move more than 5 feet. I don't care. I have 400 hit points. This is D&D. Everyone, you may now hit the guy for a D8 plus 10 damage. I have 200 hit points. I don't care. Hello, cleric. Man, this is some fucking German porn going on here. That's what's going to happen in a second. And
I really enjoy. Sometimes you have those feelings where you're playing a Doom 2 game and you're having just a showdown with somebody with a chain gun. You know how I'm feeling that? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay. I hit you for 178 points of damage, brother. Oh, that's great, man. Well, like, do it 3 more times and I might fall over. I don't know.
Yes. And
Wizard takes D4 damage from allergies. Roll up a new character. Oh, God.
Exactly.
Janet plays the wizard?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say anything negative about Janet. Janet's just really susceptible to allergies.
I understand. It's been high allergy season. I can't keep my eyes open very well. So, and so I know that over the years I have been trying to find ways to make a fighter actually be able to, I don't know, hold a line and actually guard somebody. It's because that's been the one thing that's like a continuous drive when I'm editing and trying to fuck with each edition of the rules is going, okay, can somebody actually block something without having to form a speaking of which okay.
Yeah, you stub your toe on a coffee table, and now you're hobbled to 20-foot of movement range. Yep, I get that.
Yeah, and I know there's the other problem of because the thing is that I know that if you can if you can convince enough players to bring multiple fighters to form a shield wall, it's a freaking amazing system that suddenly happens. But most players want to be cool individuals and awesome. They don't want to have to form a Roman shield wall or a Greek phalanx and then march slowly towards a target. And because what was that?
I don't know. I'm getting kind of worried because I don't want to have my fucking Pathfinder group that's level 18 with 12 members, including all of their cohorts, 7 players, and then cohorts the rest of the way. So it's close to 15 uprights moving around your dungeon. And if they discover the shield wall, I'm fucked.
Oh yeah, no, it's and I've seen it done. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool watching the front line being tower shield. Everyone's carrying tower shields and locking together, and then having the second line being the guys who are spear experts who have reach, who are reaching past the shield wall and stabbing people in that true medieval combat wall of fucking spear shit. And it works. And I know that somehow if you can actually play D&D like the medieval war game it was originally supposed to be, shit's fucking amazing. The problem is that we play fantasy bullshit land. And we're too hopped up on Conan's farts that we want to run around with big giant swords like we're a bunch of spy handlers and a bunch of spirit-eyed pipe breakers, but we're missing the fact that for a pipe breaker to work, you need a pike line to allow your pipe breakers to do their job. And it's like, or we're not playing out in the wilderness to allow the skirmishing ranger and the barbarians, and you're totally not German barbarians, or totally not Pickish, totally not Franks running around in the woods, skirmishing around and fighting. It's like these things exist, but I think that you can almost say 99, 2000 was that change that we went from medieval war simulator to fantasy, to true fantasy bullshit. Yeah, we had fantasy bullshit before, but it wasn't true fantasy bullshit yet.
Yeah, like we had Morrowind, and we knew that part of that game was kind of BS. Like the game just so happens to put you in the role of the Neverine, and you are the savior of this race of people on this island. Even if you were one of them, you were still an outsider. You're not really one of them. You're just dressed like one of them. You're a dark elf, a Dunmer. But if you play the game, you get to experience the role that Jesus had in reality or in history. And this is what you got, Whereas we thought that was fantasy bullshit simulator. All of a sudden, here comes Skyrim, power fantasy simulator. Hey, James is here.
And
James, how you doing?
Hey, James.
Hey, man, running you down has been a full-time job.
How have you been, sir? I'm sorry I've been busy.
No, don't apologize. I know you've been busy. How you doing, Kai?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Oh, living the dream, sir. Look at that hair. So long and luxurious.
I know. It's about the only good thing I got left going for me. Everything else is broken.
I thought about you the other day because somehow or another, my live stream slipped into like an hour-long like geek out about L5R.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was like, Kai likes that. Oh, yeah, we're talking about Crab Clan and getting killed by Crane Clan duelists and, the usual shit.
Well, yeah, the fun of that game. And I like the fact that its arrival on the role-playing game scene is roughly the same time period that we're talking about right now. It was one of those transitional games that was kind of showing that you could do so much more with a game than what we were being locked into. And
it is mid 90s, wasn't it? Like 96.
97 was 97 was when the role-playing game got first released. We had it was really cool at that point, and I think by 99 we had all the initial Way of books, and we were starting to get the first hints of we might actually get the source books for the actual clan wars, and we wouldn't get the Day of Thunder book for a little while longer, which was the book that we were all kind of waiting for.
Way of the Dragon added the tattooed men, which were really
cool. Yeah. I like the Void Mages that came out of Way of the Phoenix. We had Way of the Shadowlands was about this time, and that gave us the Akutensai rules, which was suddenly now I have demons with the powers that are just totally awesome. So I now have Fulang's generals, and I think we were waiting for the books to give us the the Black Scroll, so we could actually start heading towards the fight. Towards Day of Thunder, and which none of my games ever got to the Day of Thunder, because I think out of the 3 L5R campaigns, every single time my players decided to go make the story their own story, because I always set them in the same rough period. The same rough
Did you,
period
Grandma?
of time, which was
You
about, I think I always went with, I forgot which Winter Court it was. It's the Winter Court. It's the Winter Court that takes place about 2 years before the Scorpion Clan coup hits, when things are just starting to fall apart. But it's still in that age before the coup, when everything was happening, and my players enjoy that era, and they went off and had their own stories and did their own things. I think I actually only ran the Scorpion Clan coup itself once, and it was a blast because I Autosan, because we had the Autosanucci book at that point, and we were having a lot of fun actually playing through the coup. And but at that point, we really didn't want to do it again, so we just told our own stories and went off and so had different cool plot lines. Like we just focused on. I think we had one campaign where we focused on the Nameless Shadow, and we had one campaign where it just went off into its own just weird place because the whole party decided that the Mantis clan was really cool. So it became a reverse version of Christopher Columbus, and I'm back. Sorry. And my party decided to go off and be like reverse explorers with with a Mantis clan exploration fleet, where they went and found, where they wanted to go out and go find whatever that was past the Shadowlands by boat. And I'm like, fuck it, okay, we're doing this. And we had some really fun games. And it was fun because they had ended up looking too much at I forgot which Winter Court book it was, but it's the one where they went into detail the Gaijin minor house that serves the emperor's family, minor clan, and they went, well, shit, if the Gaijins came here by boat, we want to go out and go find the Gaijin. And I'm like, wait, what? You want to go in reverse Oliver? You want to do the reverse Black Fleet? Like, yes. And I'm like, 7th Seas it is. So it became an L5R 7th Seas game, and where suddenly everyone's a bunch of Europeans are all having a nice little time dealing with the French Revolution, and then suddenly this big giant boat full of samurai just kind of shows up one day, and I'm like. And it's like, and I made them navigate the fire maze at the Mirror Sea and get through that. But it was just this fun moment of watching a bunch of Age of Piracy Europeans having fun doing stupid European things, and then this gigantic super boat just shows up in Italy. Sorry, in the Bodosei territories, and it's just like. Boom. What's this? Oh yeah, no, Japanese. Wait, what? And it was a fun game because I had both, and I loved both, and they were semi-compatible, and it was funny watching the Japanese invasion of Europe in the 1700s. It was the most hilarious moment in the entire, and it was just a fun game of a bunch of Japanese fans who were a bunch of history majors going, fuck Napoleon. We're going to show up and overthrow Napoleon before Napoleon happens. With what? With the Sengoku Jidai. Okay. heck yeah, let's do this. And it was a blast of a time. Meanwhile, we were playing D&D elsewhere. At this point, we were firmly into late 3.0 because 3.5 hadn't arrived yet, and I think we were enjoying Scarred Lands at that point, which was fun, kinda. And it was and we were doing some just minor D&D stuff because honestly, L5R was way more fun. And by then, I had sold off my Rift stuff, but because this was also the early 2000s, and I think it was just it was mostly just D&D, L5R, 7 Seas at that point in time, because BattleTech had kind of fallen out because we were dealing with the after effects of FASA being worthless, and yeah, and we were dealing with that every game under the sun was putting out a 3.0 module expansion pack crossover. Plus, we were dealing with the era when WotC decided to buy out AEG and put out the shitty version of L5R and the shitty version of 7 Seas using the 3.0 engine because WotC developers sucked ass at actually adapting anything. So you got their pirate, the High Seas pirate book, which was, boy, this is trash. And then you got the L5R D&D Oriental Adventures. Like, look, the homework was miserable, and it was so terrible that AEG went out and published their own modules to fix WotC's fuck up, which was hilarious to watch. Is watching AEG going, because WotC's like, well, we bought the card game rights, so that gives us the rights to be able to write our own book using your material. And AEG, fuck you. Which is why you got those weird dual module books, which honestly AEG did fix Oriental Adventures, and they did fix the High Seas piracy book to the point where you can forget that WotC even existed. And then Sword and Sorcery was being put out by all the White Wolf guys, and Sword and Sorcery is just sitting here going, hey, do you like Faerun? Yeah. What if Faerun wasn't trash? Oh, okay. Yeah, here's our setting. And then they went out and wrote their own books for everything that were suddenly better versions of L5R. No, sorry, better versions of fantasy role-playing. Or I watched DreamPod 9 put out their D20 conversion book for Gear Krieg and Heavy Gear because I needed giant robots in my D20 game. And then I watched Pinnacle Press put out, do you want to fight World War II in D20? Because D20 Modern's crap. I'm sorry, it is a crap book. It's just written poorly and it doesn't play well. But everyone used that as the basis for, well, we can put out everything in D20, and then Traveler gives me D20 Traveler, and I'm like, well, fuck, I don't need games anymore. I have one game. Meanwhile, GURPS is over here going, I did it first, and you just could just go away. No one wants you.
I kind of felt sorry for GURPS until I tried playing it with Sean. You get 2 actions a round, but one of your actions is spent recovering from the other action. So really you just get one thing to do a round, which isn't bad, but it's just that you have to take your other action to get yourself back in like your fighting stance or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's constantly a fight you're having with GURPS. If you can handle that, that's your type of game, man. Great game. Lots of expandability,
Oh
different
my
worlds,
God.
different rules. But I would rather play Rifts in the in the Rifts campaign that they sell you in the main book, where it's like a 12-year-old kid that like 2 weeks ago had a crush on ninjas, and there was nothing that wasn't part of American Ninja 3, The Domination. And then like last week he like watched John Carpenter's Vampires, and now everything's cool with vampires.
And
And
giant
like
robots.
and giant robots. You just have giant fucking robots everywhere. And
Yeah.
next week he's watching what's an Amazon chick movie? What's a woman? What's a early or mid 70s, late 70s women fighting movies? Foxes or something? I don't know, but it would be a movie with like chicks and mullets and feathered hair, and this 12-year-old kid would have his first hard on, and from there on out, every woman looked like Marquis Post or Catherine Bach,
Yes.
and there would be nothing else. That's all there is.
Yep. But GURPS did save Traveler. I will give GURPS that. When the original developer collapsed, GURPS saves Traveler, and we did get GURPS Vampire.
Take care, Nerdy. God bless you, sir.
We did get GURPS Vampire, and we did get GURPS, well, everything. And but I don't want to take 3 hours to design a sailboat in their engine. I don't, because I'm a designer, and to circle us back to one of the things that I think 3.0 did actually fuck up was the manufacturing of magic items. When I played earlier editions, I never cared about, like, when I played second, I didn't care about item creation at all, because it was so arcane and so weird that it was a game unto itself, because there was no locked down set universe that this is how you make an item. Things just were. You didn't get like a magical empire because nobody knew how to make anything. You were literally just a bunch of idiots wandering around in ruins having adventure time. And then the formula came. Like the Industrial Revolution arrived, where it's part of the reason why from like 3 on, I'm like, no, the idea that it's all mystical mumbo jumbo and nobody understands it is bullshit. We have formulas now on how to create your own spells and how to determine what spell level they're going to be, what their damage rate's going to be, what their saving throws are going to be. Items were the same thing. Now you can know how do you create and judge the spell cost of a plus 20 to stealth item? And you're like, oh, this is how it's done. And now you have a set of equations that do everything. Magic is no longer mystical. Like when I played in second edition, I never had the idea of the grand unified magical theory. In 3.0 and forward, the grand unified magical theory fucking exists. Nobody understands it yet, but I think there is. I became convinced that all spells are really just the same spell, and that it's just filtered through 3 different forms of fucking bullshit because it's all a machine that does this thing. Now, this allowed me to, as a GM, to create insane quantities of stuff. But because the equations were known, and anyone who had the literacy rate of an 8-year-old could read this and understand how to make everything. There was no mystery to it. Magic wasn't magic anymore. And I think that's why I know when I was younger, I was like, Mage the Ascension is big brain theory. Nobody knows how to play Mage the Ascension. Nobody understands how to play play Ars Magica. Those are scary games played by people who are super smart.
Man, I gotta say, I remember there was a fucking Mage the Ascension game in Springfield, Illinois, and Quintessence is like one of the most precious things that mages could get in that campaign, because it's like the fuel that powers your everything.
Yes.
And the party was told by their Mr. Johnson, like, hey, I have a job for all of you.
Go find it.
Here is, I just need a gondola off the Norfolk and Southern line here off Springfield Avenue. I need that gondola that's got Quintessence in it, and I need it at this location. And he gives him a street address without an adjacent rail line. But the problem is that the GM knows his players, and he puts 4 gondolas full of Quintessence.
Yeah.
Right at Springfield Avenue, right on Sangamon Avenue. And these guys went apeshit insane trying to get all 4 rail cars. Oh my God, it's 4 rail cars of Quintessence. The world's going to owe us everything. And that was a TPK. Because they engineered it themselves. They made their own demise. It was wonderful to watch.
Yeah. And I know that shortly thereafter, there was also the arrival of Exalted early on at that period of time, too. A little after, but it was kind of like the refinement of what had come before it. And it was early, it was still early in that era, but Exalted is its own dumpster fire of problems. But it was White Wolf. What did you expect? White Wolf was a pile of problems. But I think you can see there's this divergent point towards very formulaic. Everything is now becoming standardized. And then this point where games were still going towards, you can still have more fun, but you can also see this point where D&D was trying, D&D and its eventual descendant Pathfinder were trying to go with, we want to have the infinite flavor and customization of these better games, but we want to still have it in the framework of the level system that we inherited from the past. And I'm like, and I think at that point, you do have the fuck up of, did it ruin the hobby? Kind of, yes. Because now we're in this weird mutant phase where rather than having, you knew what it was, and it was predictable and common, and it was already heading towards that because, well, the 90s were all about games that gave you options. Flavors, options, customization, and the idea that you can make your character interesting. I know Traveler did it first, way back in the dawn of time, but Traveler is his own mutant problem of nobody who's any good is actually young. I hope you're here for the next 5 years of gameplay, because that's the only way your character's going to get good. You're having a bunch of retirees having 3 adventures and the game ends. Congratulations, you might get 2 skill points. Enjoy the fall of the Imperium. Enjoy the Frontier Wars. Good luck. See y'all later. Out. But you kind of saw that trend of, sure, life paths existed, but you had, with the arrival of the games that were winning awards in the late 90s, were the games that were giving you options, giving you customization and flavor and characters that were doing cool things. And yeah, players options like TSR. And TSR was kind of doing that one because it was coming up with the idea of how do we make D&D a bit more I liked it. I liked it. I know there's a lot of people who did not like players options. I know they're like, ruins game bad. But then again, we're talking about AD&D, and we can't even decide on what version of D&D we're talking about most of the time because, well, let's be honest, we have a bunch of people who are like, bet me is the greatest thing in the entire fucking universe. AD&D is heresy. Then you have a bunch of the heresy people who are a bunch of the heretics at AD&D going, no, you're the fucking heresy. And this is all weird, and we can't fucking argue. And now we have two parallel lines of development, and things just don't communicate very well, and it's its own mutant problem. And hey, now we're going bankrupt because our people can't fucking do accounting, and contracts written in the 70s are fucking stupid, and now we're broke. Oh shit, game's fucking dead. Company's fucking out. And now we have WotC, and WotC can't fucking write their way out of a wet paper bag. And then we got the codification of players' options. This is my theory. These are my theories, my opinions. I don't care about the intrinsic histories down to it. This is from how it felt on the ground as a player before the internet, when the only things I got were the stuff I could buy at Walden Books at the mall.
God, I miss Walden Books.
Yeah. Or when I went to Beyond Eternity, which was one of our local game stores, or the Game Room, the other local game store, because driving to Bloomington was too damn far for 16-year-old me, which is 40 miles one way. That's just too damn far.
Hey, Guy, I want to ask James real quick. Yeah. I'm going to give him the same hypothetical that I gave you earlier. James, okay. Are you still here, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in 99, we started playing 3.0. Were you part of the early adopters club, or did you stay away for a while?
Nah, I bought 3.0, all 3 books, like the second they were released, and also the 3.0 Greyhawk Gazetteer as well.
Did you ever, whenever you were playing it, did you find out, like, after like level 6, 7, did you find out that like you can't really play like you did in second ed?
Yes, and that's why, like, when I talk to when my brother and I talk about it, we would generally retire characters at about level 10.
Okay, because say like today, the game I was playing with my friends.
Well, you're playing like your percentile game today. I listened.
Yeah, and I almost killed the party.
Oh, good.
With one character that, mind you, exploding damage die and having a magic system that adds dice for damage. Like if you have a what would be in an old game like a +5 sword, a long sword +5. It's like you get an extra +5 to hit and a +5 to damage, and your D8 plus whatever strength bonus you get, and there you go. And you're like, okay, cool. So I'm like racking off between 6 and 15 points of damage now with this +5 sword. Not really the same in my game. If you're just a basic user of a longsword, you suck at it. You're like a 17-year-old kid awkwardly swinging a sword. With a +5 weapon, now you get a +25 to hit. And if you hit, you're rolling 5 die 8 damage. Plus your strength modifier.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, so like the game is designed to have like a high mortality rating, which I wasn't really anticipating yet. I'm enjoying this as a player. As a player or as a GM, I'm enjoying it because as the seconds in the combats tick on, my players start to panic as the damage mounts. And they start thinking about self-preservation, fuck being offensive. I think I might need to run. That didn't happen
Well,
today,
I
mind
mean,
you. Go ahead.
I was going to say maybe they do need to run.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely need to learn how to run. But I'm not trying to force them to learn how to run. I'm trying to kind of give them the reason, like we think running might be good right now, and that's something that I haven't really heard from a gaming group in years. Now, mind you, Travis, one of my players in the Pathfinder game I play, he's always putting stuff between him and the bad guy. Like, oh, there's a bad guy here. Let me summon a dinosaur, and I'll put the 2 tons of meat between me and the bad guy. But he's always trying to think of a way to make sure that he's not in charging range of something bad. But
Mhm.
I like having this damage kind of get out of hand because it really forces to the players, like, play smart, please. You don't know when I'm going to start having a run of luck and I start rolling maximum result on exploding damage die. But in the games that are like the 3-0 and 4-0, if you have players, like, either you have to have a total party kill or you have to have everybody wins, like an American movie. Yay, we all win. Yay, high five. Because if you kill half the party, now as a GM, you're forced to say the miserable words like, all right, you guys can come back up to 2 levels less than what the rest of the party is on an average party level. Instead of being like the old days in second and first and Beck Me, where you're like, okay, well, create your first level character, roll 3 die 6 down the line. And I kind of like the old style a lot better because, one, it brings the players back to the table very fast. And two, it's not kind of hamstringing me like, well, shit. Now I have this entire dungeon. I got to wait for like 6 of the player characters to get at least level 5 before they can discover the various templated vampire that they have to fight. I constructed this character over time with my advanced bestiary guide, and he's got like 7 operating templates on him. And he's only a CR 26, and I think any game after 3-0 really tries to force the GM to keep them all alive. In my own honest opinion, I think 3-0 and beyond, they forgot what it's like to play a game where, like, you are not as powerful and balanced as the person next to you. You might just be a putz with a sword, or you might be fucking Clark Kent. We don't know, and we don't really give a shit. I kind of want that.
Right.
I don't want homogenization. I'll take riffs over 3.0 D&D.
I mean, it was just what was out, and we played it because, as
Yeah.
I've said a million times, about how players, at least my players, seem to enjoy fantasy much more than they do any other genre. And so that's what we ran, the fantasy. I mean, during that same time, I ran, Middle Earth Roleplay, Rollmaster, RuneQuest. So we did look around for other systems, but anyway, I wanted to stop in and say hi to both of you. I'm going to take off. It's getting late, and I
Sure.
still got a
No
couple
problem.
things to do, but I wanted to drop in and be like, "What up, Bruce? How you doing?"
James, I'm doing great. I miss you, man. I'll try to see you this week. I don't think I have as many ruinous things to do during the afternoon.
Well, we'll see. Otherwise, I'll just keep sending you messages on
On
Discord.
Discord,
But
thank you.
Kai, it's nice seeing you again too, sir.
Always pleasure.
All right. Take care, guys.
Be well, sir.
Yep.
Uh, one of his favorite games is L5R, and on the other side of the spectrum is like pretty much basic D&D. Not basic per se, but like Hyperborea, which is kind of a TSR-esh clone. But if it was TSR that had Quentin Tarantino write all the magic items.
That sounds fun, honestly.
Have you looked at Hyperborea, the amazing swordsman and sorcerers and swordsmen of Hyperborea, or no?
Honestly, no. If I'm looking for a game anymore, I'm either A, I can do it better with whatever I've got now, or
Okay.
I'm looking for tools and to make a game more interesting. And that's kind of reason why I've been more all my money's been going into Traveler or Battletech or anything else because honestly I have enough fantasy shit.
What do you do with when you get a group together and they're like, no, I don't want to play insert generic fantasy, and they start talking to you about like lore of a game system, like we'll just say either Twilight Imperium or even BattleTech. Do you immediately march to the rule system and be like, let's create your character now, Tom? Do you do
No,
that?
honestly, it comes and when we start talking about what kind of I've got a group where we're and it's the group that we're trying to get a D&D game, but it might also mutate. Right now, we're in this flux state where we haven't picked the rules that we're going to use yet to play the game, because what's being kind of being cooked up right now is we're looking at almost. I don't want to call it like a Dresden universe thing, but we kind of wanted to go with like an alternate film noir idea of like like a shadow like when you live in like the shadow realm that's like one step off one step out of phase with the real world where all the monsters and magic things do actually live there and they all interact and deal. So it's kind of like, well, what if you did have, say, Simon R. Green's The Night Side universe, or which is a great novel series, or what if you did have a world where King Arthur is an actual problem and where there's actually like because we kind of wanted to go with the idea of interesting characters doing fun, like where you could have an angel, a demon, somebody who is an outsider, where you're dealing with a local werewolf pack problem, but the werewolf pack is actually, you know, the police union because, well, who better to run your police department than a bunch of werewolves? Or we wanted to have the idea of a intelligence agency being run by a dragon, where the dragon literally sits there and uses their knowledge, influence, contacts, magic items, and wealth to hire players to keep the city operational. Where it's like, yeah, there's a rogue Bogart or there's a red cap who's running around out there. I want you to remove them. And the dragon is keeping things operate. It is a private security organization where you've got witches and wizards and shit. And the whole idea is that it's one step removed from the world where it isn't quite just simply, hello, I'm Harry Dresden. I'm the one wizard who's actually useful. We kind of like the idea of the urban fantasy thing. And, well, everyone's having fun creating characters, making things. Yeah, definitely a dial-in for monsters, or the cops being run by Giovanni, or something like these are the things that we're hammering out. Where the idea that there's a Medusa who's literally sits in a she doesn't leave her house very often, but it's a Gorgon, and she's very knowledgeable. She's an ancient monster, but everyone who has to go there has to go with mirrored sunglasses because you can't look her in the eyes. And we wanted, like, we're kind of hammering out this setting in the game, and we haven't really set on the game rules or the engine because we're going at it from characters first, setting, and then the rules set, rather than rules set make the game fit the rules. And I know that when I run a few of my sci-fi games, because I've got a selection of sci-fi games, I don't try to like cram. I don't have to cram everything in a Traveler because, well, if we're not dealing with space and we wanted to deal with a more focused, gritty city, living within one city or on a continent or on a single planet, well, Shadowrun or Cyberpunk can do the job just as well. And so it's characters become this. Or when we were playing a fantasy game for a little while, Inomine actually was a better game. It was a better fit than trying to ham fist some other game engine into it. And so for a while we had an Inomine game running, and then life got in the way and the game retired. I know I keep pushing Legend of the Five Rings, and if we have an idea that everyone wants to play an L5R campaign, bam, L5R. It's right there waiting. I've now run at least 3 different stories, set short campaigns. And they're short adventures because, well, we're adults. Life happens. It isn't that we don't ever want to play again. It's just simply the fact, or the game was shit. It's just simply the fact of realizing, yeah, no, it's been 6 months. We haven't had a chance to get back to this game. This game's over. Let's play new characters and get into it. We would love a long-term campaign. Hell, there's a few longer-term ones I'm enjoying elsewhere. But it's one of those, it's reality. We're old. We're old people who are still working, but we're not quite to retirement old yet. When we're retirement old, the whole thing changes. Yeah, we'll probably get back to 10, 15, 20-year-old, long campaigns until the only reason why we don't GM anymore is that half the group died. You mean your characters? No, the players.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting worried about that because I just crossed the 50s threshold this year.
Yeah.
In my 50s at 51. 50 is still your 40s because that's a 0. But 51, that's the start of a new era. It's your 50s, fucker. And when you're in your 50s, that's when the survival portion of life really starts.
Yeah. I got about 3 more years of that before I hit that wall. But I'm also realizing that I don't need to pick up more shit now. I can make my games work, and now I'm finding I'll be honest, I'm trying to find gamers who are in their 20s and 30s to spend more time with, rather than finding more people who are as old as I am, who have done everything that I have, to continue to have the same adventures I had when I was in my 20s. I would rather find people who are in their 20s and 30s to start teaching them the lessons, pass on the lessons I've got. Here's the solutions I've figured out. Here's the stories I've told. Don't let this shit die with me. I'm going to pass this on to you guys. And when I go, here's the pass key to my computer, so that way you can download my shit, and here's my stuff you can loot. I'm dead. I don't care what you do with it after I'm gone, but I want to make sure that it's on to somebody who will appreciate it before I go. And that's because I don't want a Dave Searing problem where all my shit was pushed into a bunch of garbage bags and are in someone's basement being parceled out piece by piece. No, I want this to go out. So I love playing with older players because I don't have to do as much work. We're all on the same page, but I also kind of don't want to keep playing the same shit I played 30 years ago. I loved my campaigns 30 years ago. I loved playing some of these Star Wars games. But I know I'm never going to get That group of friends is long gone. I'm never going to play that game. I don't want to play that game anymore. If I'm going to keep playing it, I want to improve shit and push forward to where I'm at now, to be brutally fucking honest. And yeah. And like now, mind you, if I'm lucky enough to become immortal, fuck yeah, I'm gonna be here for fucking goddamn ever and telling more stories until I'm dead. And if I can digitize myself and be a GM, a digital GM forever, fuck yeah, I'm going to be. I'm giving the option to continue to entertain people, because that's ultimately the greatest gift you can do is entertain people, and that's what I want to do. I want to give people a chance to laugh, to have fun, to tell stories and play characters. Yeah, I could kill you, and that's possible, but that's kind of the risk that comes with it. But I want to. I don't want to just rehash this shit until the end of time.
Like
There's always so many variations of Conan the Barbarian. I can tell. And brilliant is, at least for me.
I love the B series. I'm not gonna lie. I love the B series. Caves of the Unknown, Beyond the Keep on the Borderlands. I think those are fucking amazing.
They are.
But you have to kind of let the games you've played before kind of shape the games you're going to play in the future. So if you have in your game world, if you have things that you've really fallen in love with and you're a GM and you just want to have the players kind of experience the same awe and wonder, they're probably not going to feel the same awe and wonder in 2027 that you felt in 1984 or 86 if you're me. But
Yeah.
you can at least give them something that makes their jaw drop, because you're adding something that might be familiar from their own personal imaginations into the game world, which I highly recommend you do study up on what is pop culture for today for kids before you run for a bunch of middle schoolers. Please do this.
Yeah.
And wash your mouth out. Don't be cussing. Don't be dropping that around the kids. You've got to hold up at least a little bit of a standard. Don't ruin them. Don't be the guy that ruins the kids and the mother won't let the kids hang out with you again because you're a bad influence and you say no words. Anyway, I'm really talking to myself there, by the way, not you guys. Something else I wanted to point out. You can play games and have a literal hoot, and they can stay in the past as well. Like RPG Grandma, she's always looking for something new to play and new experience. She loves that. She loves this shit. This is her bread and butter. She doesn't really play a lot of D&D. She plays a lot of other more eclectic games that are a little bit more detailed towards other things. But she says, I played in a game where I was a nun, like the flying nun, but from World War II France. And we had another player who was an American GI. There was another player from present day. He worked at Home Depot. And there was an elf from an urban future. Oh, and a cyborg. We had a hoot.
That's blast.
And
That sounds fun.
yeah. And in her game world, which she's going to run a conglomeration of various memory items that are part and parcel to her enjoyment of this hobby, she might have giant, tall spires from the lost cities right 52 miles away from the keep, from B2 Keep on the Borderlands, because she loves it. It's an abandoned ruin now. The keep is going to make an appearance in my fantasy game, but it's no longer the populated station that it was. Now it's run down, it's ramshackle. There might be stuff there, there might be things that are worth exploring there, but what's there now is an opportunity for players to go in there and be wary and be on their toes. Doesn't have to be that way for every table, but when you have an abandoned keep like that, most GMs are going to be like, yeah, there is some old forgotten weapons there. There's some armor secrets there. If you ransack the blacksmith's location, you might find a hammer that you really enjoy, and it might be something that'd be worthwhile for your players to involve themselves in. It doesn't have to be that way for every table, but for you, and you want to make it special for your table, for your own players, and give them their own customized game that probably someone at an adventure league will not. This is a good idea for you to do it. Make it special for your players. They're only going to play a certain number of times with you before things change. Don't give them bland ass satisfactory game number. What was that number, Kai? Is it 3124 dot 216? Yeah, I think
The
that's
number changes every time.
every fucking time. But it's just, you don't want to give your players the ho hum crap. I think
No.
you're gonna want to give your players something enjoyable and fun, and give them something that probably you haven't done before as well. You don't have to run the same game 40 times.
Or the fun.
James has been with us tonight, and he's ran 2 modules that I completely love. He's ran B2, the Caves of Chaos, Keep on Borderlands, and then he ran the module that was based on SSI's Pool of Radiance called Ruins of Adventure. Those 2 modules you can have 50 DMs look at. They'll never play the same game. They never will. Go ahead, Guy.
I think I'm not one who likes to rerun modules. I don't. I know that I mentioned a few module books for L5R that I've used. I mentioned Ryoko Owari, I mentioned Adasanuchi, and I mentioned a few other box set modules that are more setting, that are critical key settings, that they give you this beautiful map of a city that's critical to the story, and then an adventure that goes into it. I know that with Ryoko Owari's big is a city of lies, city of dangers and intrigue, but it's also where Night of a Thousand Screams is centered around, which is the entrance to a greater existential threat that will undo reality if you let it get too far. Adasanuchi is the Imperial City, and its key module is setting up for the Scorpion Clan coup. But I've also ran Kingmaker, sadly now, twice. But one
Pathfinder's Kingmaker?
Was that?
Pathfinder's Kingmaker?
Yep, I ran Kingmaker twice.
Did you run a hardcover book, or did you run the 6 adventure paths?
The adventure paths books.
Okay.
Because those are the ones I had. And the first time we made it to the whole bullshit, everything you did did not actually fucking matter, because we're now in the fairy realm and you fight the fairy queen. And I'm like, this is bullshit. The second time I ran it, we got to the actual point where they found the not keep on the borderlands, the fort, the fort by the lake, where you establish your first kingdom, and the game just stopped there. We didn't stop playing, but the module stopped at that point. My players just went into, no, we're now kings of this region, and we're going to just I'm like, here's a few hints of what volume 3 is going to here's some volume 3 threats. And they're like, yeah, we're going to engage with that, but not at the same time. And the game diverged and stopped being Keep on the Border. I stopped being Kingmaker and just turned into, you know what? This is our kingdom. We're going to run it. And that group of players had a lot more fun than the players who actually pushed through parts 3, 4, 5, and bullshit fairies.
Yeah, part 6 is a real problem for me as a GM to run. It's not the fact that it's poorly written; it's very, very well written.
It
It's
is
just
well written.
it's just the fact that like it comes out of nowhere and blindsides the players. They have one clue in book 1 of what's going on. That's it. It's not a good clue. It's just a real issue because all of a sudden, like you're turning around and it's winter time, and all of a sudden your entire land disappears on you. It's gone.
Yeah, I know. Oh, RPG Grandma, that's an awesome idea. I like that the hyperspace weapon that causes the world to be magical. That's a really cool idea. I like that because that similar idea is that I will admit the campaign thing that I ran for a very 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 long time was I was an interest I was inherited from an earlier concept that was hammered over my head by a GM that I enjoyed. She was fucking crazy, but I love this idea, so I took her idea and made it the core seed of my campaign world back in the late 90s, early 2000s when I started running my D&D world, which was also a partially an L5R world. But that one was the whole idea that the planet is actually a central balance point between magic and technology, so both of them can actually function here. And that was a much greater universe out there that was just, this is kind of a bit of, well, we were Amber fans and we kind of liked the idea of Shadow Earth being the balance point before everything. And so the world became this, we liked the idea that no, bullshit crossovers happen from all these other settings. And no, it's Faerun, but Faerun's over there. And shit from Faerun can fall here. Or shit from this game can fall here. And if you ever left, things got weird. And it was a really cool idea that, yeah, you could take things from this world, but if you went too tech in one direction, the magic would fail. If you went too magic, the tech would fail. But here things work. And here you could actually have a Solomon class, scout ship that still works. It crashed and you can still get it to work, but it's powered by wizards. We don't care. It works in this setting. Yes. And we had a lot of, and now, mind you, most of my players don't need to know all of that shit. That is some high level stuff. Like if your 20 level wizard decides to use plane shift and they plane shift like two dimensions over, and then they find out that, oh no, that's actually like, no, you're actually in the Third Imperium. The Third Imperium is just 2 shifts over to the right. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, no, that's over there. You can have that. And there's a lot of really cool stuff where I had players who got pissed off about the idea of the techno magical balance that was happening, and they're like, "Fuck that! No, we're going to go one dimension to the left, and we're going to go create our own magical world over here and create our own better planet where it's just wizard shit." And then they picked up and left. But when they left, they burnt all the notes telling where they left. So that way all the techno weirdos couldn't follow after. And so everyone's like so there's this world of lost wizard kingdoms. So if you want to have your Conan the Barbarian bullshit in the magical world of Pern over here, you can go over here, and then there's the magical world of Pern with wizard shit and other stupid things happening over here, and it's got its own history. And so there's the world of the world of weird, trashy sci-fi shit, and then the world of magic, and then the two of them are next to each other. And there's people whose entire job is to, and players have evolved this through gameplay and experience. I really didn't do a whole lot of this shit. This is player stuff, and where players created like personal like hit squads who leave the realm of magic to go murder anybody who might be able to tell the techno guys that the magic world exists. So every once in a while, some magical ninjas show up, assassins, just blow a car up. Now, mind you, there still is magic, but but they don't want to come over here and pollute this. This is player created lore, but the thing is, my players who almost always start in shit in the shit world where everything's gone to fucking pot, and there's always these hints of, oh no, there's actual true cool shit over just one round to the one round to the left, and everyone's like, I have no idea what you're doing, and it's fun because this becomes the high level shit that when my players finally hit 14th, 15th, 16th level, and they start to understand the world is actually far bigger than me and far older than me, and it's more fun. But the thing is that, and I've even told players, like, no, there is a certain point that if you reach a certain enlightenment or understanding, we're going to change game engines in a heartbeat. Like, we'll stop playing D&D or Pathfinder. That will go right in the garbage, and you'll play the engine more fitting to the world that you're going to. And sure, that might be a bit of Exalted, like where we're gonna go, hey, we're going to move from this to an Exalted Mage the Ascension game because you're not playing with the toddlers anymore. But I can cast 9th level D&D spells. Congratulations, you're still a terrestrial wizard. You're about to go learn how to do real magic, and the game becomes more fun. And I love this stuff. Like, I love cool concepts for worlds where you can have fun stuff. I like the idea of a magical hyperspace weapon. That's fucking awesome. The idea that the world becomes cool because something hit it. Hell yes. And the idea that you don't have magic if you leave, also fucking cool. I love that shit. I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of angry I didn't think of it first. But hey, that's awesome. I would love to. I would love to read more, to be brutally honest. But that's just me. But hey, now you've given me a really cool idea that I'm going to quite mercilessly steal if I ever get a chance to, because that's such a cool idea. I like the idea of maybe possibly, like, I don't know, in playing a game in like playing in a setting and having magic arrive via, I don't know, a giant fucking sphere that hits the planet, and then suddenly it's like, oh shit, no one pay attention to that thing. Why? That's where all the magic comes from. Oh, that's scary. How do we fight that? I don't know. And it would be a fun way to just screw with people. And I love this idea. But hey, I would love to, hear more about, read more about this idea because it sounds fun. And
Blast. That's
cool. You sold to someone else. Hey, we all steal, and I'll just fuck yeah. Just it proves that taking the parts and making them your own and is fun. But it's far better than, I'm pissed off about the idea that D&D people now use gamer terms. That use video game terms. And I'm like, the video games learned all of these terms from us. You know that, right? Well, they don't need to call it tank. Tank sounds dumb, and healer sounds dumb, and DPS sounds dumb. Those are gamer terms. Yeah, because that just is the term means the exact same of we need two damage dealing classes. We need one tough guy to block the hallway, and we need a cleric, because that's how we played every fucking video game. Back on PC for years. Like, you have a 4-man party. How do you build your 4-man party? Guy who's frontliner, rear liner, and damage dealer. And it's God, when I listen to some people bitch about tank DPS, like, yeah, would you prefer calling it damage per round? We were calling them damage dealers or spell slingers for a long time. Hell, we were calling them like, hey, this guy's the artillery of the party. It's your wizard, and it's kind of just, why are we bitching about term? You're right, term war is stupid, but some people want to keep the purity of the 1980s. World of Warcraft ruined it. No, Final Fantasy ruined it in 1986. It's like when we got 1987 when we played Final Fantasy 1, where we didn't call it fighter tank. No, we didn't. We knew what it was, but that was when the Japanese polluted our sacred holy game engine. And oh wait, no, we had that on PC before that. I mean, as long as we've had computers ruined everything. I understand. We want to go back to our sacred geometry of squares. Squares on a sheet, because we don't want to do the original tabletop war game of using a ruler back from the ancient days. But no, we went to squares. Squares are good, but squares we can't argue, but we can't decide on what square we're going to use, and the time changes and everything. I know the game evolves. We've had a lot of time to evolve everything over the years. But no matter what, it's still the same problem of composition. And I know that if there's one thing that 3 really did, 3 gave us 3 and WoW Ultima Online actually, or games before that, which you still had frontline healer, 2 damage dealers, and so did you tank it, or did you soak the hits? Yeah, okay, that's cool, fantastic. Is the fact that we now made everyone a damage dealer rather than filling the roles. We opened the roles up. Now the game is ruined because now we have options, and now everyone can do this. And now the meta is, because, well, it's, if we kill it quick, we don't die, which I think to me is the wrong direction to ever take a game, to be brutally honest, because I'm somebody who's like, no, the fighter needs to be able to take hits, stay standing, take the hits. And the cleric has to be able to heal enough to keep up with the damage the fighter or the paladin is taking. They should be able to mitigate, but the game has not evolved in that direction. We've had the problem of all of our games are monsters have to hit a lot to cause damage because of inflated hit point totals. Inflated hit point totals mean we need to hit hard, hit often, but because we've never updated any of the healing magic is still pathetic because it's the same spell from 1988, because the spell hasn't improved. Magic doesn't improve. Fireball used to be amazing when everybody only had a handful of hit points. Now 66 isn't that impressive. 36 hit points doesn't really hurt anybody, doesn't scare anyone. Meanwhile, Fireball of the past used to be God. It's not. Now if you want to be a blaster, an evocation blaster mage, you need the thing that wizards don't have, feats.
Yep.
You need to have the stack abilities, stack things, just so that way you can keep up with the damage totals. Well, wizards aren't supposed to be damagers. Bullshit. They're just they're utility. Bullshit. Yes, I can play Batman. If I can read your mind and plan ahead and be Batman, I can be invincible and I'll never have to cast a spell. But because this game is combat, you want to be able to do some combat, and you want to do more than just sit in the back and go 1d4, 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 1d4 plus 1, 1d4 plus 1. That's what I'm doing this round, guy. 1d4 plus 1. Because that's my one little blip of damage that I can do. Because we don't want the wizard to have to go use a crossbow. Hey, look at that. This is what I'm doing. Plink, 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 plink. Because the crossbow is it is a simple weapon proficiency. Everyone can use it. You give it to everybody. Now your wizard does a d8 damage. Yay! But he's got infinite of it. Well, not effectively infinite, because you don't have players like me who are sitting here going, okay, so what's the salvage rate on expended ammunition? Okay, so, and you get that kind of fun logic because I've done this shit. I've tracked the ammo to the point where it's like, no, I know exactly how much ammo I have, in what quantities, in what quivers, what quiver is where, and how much it is, and I know how much I know my rate of fire, and I calculated it all out. It's fantastic, and I'm going to drag the combat. We fought the combat. Now let's go drag the combat out for the next 20 minutes while I roll to see how much ammunition I can find, what's broken, and what I can recover. And then I'm going to adapt. It's like, yeah, you can do all this shit and have fun, but and here we are at the point now where everything hits too hard. Everything hits too hard, because what's the point of having 100 hit points if 2 hits kills you? Because there's no point. You're 2 hit points. I know I've covered this in previous streams, in previous rants. The 3 hit point problem of no matter what level you are, you're 2 to 3 hit points from death at all times. The wizard is going to be 1 hit. Everybody else is 2. The fighter paladin characters are going to be 3 hits on average, versus a serious equal threat. Everyone does enough damage that if you have monsters that do less damage than that, it's probably a horde villain. It's like, here's a swarm of something, and they're going to hit you a lot. And at that point, it's just a lot of a whole lot of pin pricks and dying from needles. But in the big fights that actually matter, it's 3 hits and dead. Can the healer heal a hit point? Boom. Okay. Now it's like, and it becomes this serious problem, especially now that we have in later editions, we have that everyone now hits the same. At least with 3 and 3.5 and Pathfinder 1, you at least have full progression, half progression, and you have attack, fire line, cleric, fire line, thief line, and wizard line. And the fighter hits often, hard, and fast, but he's got lots. But now everyone hits the exact same. Everyone has the same number of attacks. Everyone has the same number of actions, and everyone has a primary stat that they hit with. So it doesn't matter. So the fighter doesn't fucking matter anymore. It's just simply attack plus primary stat. That's it. Fighter is strength. Paladin is strength. Rogue can do it with dex. Wizards do it with intelligence. Somebody else who casts can do it with this, and this, and this. And it's just like, what's the point? My stats don't fucking matter. What 2 stats do I have that matter? Primary attack stat and con. Everything else doesn't fucking matter. And yeah, the unique classes are what we've lost. We have infinite options, but it's all bland. It's really bland. And Pathfinder 2 tried to fix this, but it failed to do it. 5th edition is really crap. 3rd is so milquetoast. And Pathfinder 1 is also milquetoast, where the only way you get flavor is if you add it yourself. It's like, if I want to have 3.0 to be good, I have to say, we're going to go play Weird Wars. We're going to set it in World War II. The flavor has to come from the setting at that point, because the rules are a joke. Any version of it, it is a joke. If I want to run heavy gear, I've got the rules in D20. I can run it. I won't, because heavy gear is kind of garbage when you suddenly have to go to here's my attack, here's my AC, here's my damage, here's my hit point totals for the gears. The whole point of heavy gear is the giant robot, well, the semi-giant robots, and the idea of having a tank. The whole cool part of what made Weird Wars cool is the fact that you're fighting I'm evil wizard Nazis who have undead tanks running around. And now you got to figure out how your player is going to kill a tiger tank. Oh shit, that's kind of hard. Or hey, the threat isn't a dragon, it's an ME-109. Or your threat isn't simply a bugbear, it's a Japanese battleship offshore. Oh God. No, they really haven't. We really never got a good psychic combat rule set, because no matter what, psychics are either going to be played off as just another flavor of wizard, or they were bolted on inefficiently. We've never really gotten psychics being anything that's useful. If you want good psychics, go play a superhero game. I'm sorry. Or go play Traveler, where psychics are the only thing you got. But psychics kind of are their own weird thing, kind of squeeze over in this one spot. I've never, whenever I've seen psychics done, they're just either, hey, look, I'm a Protoss warrior. My melees are mental blades. I am a weapon. Congrats. I am a different kind of wizard that uses different stats. Yay. We've got that everywhere now. I mean, we've got. Hi, are you a spellcaster? Are you an intelligence-based caster? Are you a wisdom-based caster? Was that?
I'm okay. I'm not looking for affirmation.
Or are you a charisma caster? Are you a divine, a nature, or a arcane caster? We have 9 flavors of magic, after all, and now we just kind of we have 3 flavors of 3 primary flavors, and then we just diverge down into what sub flavor of caster you are, and then suddenly you glue on guy who's got psychic powers, so you're kind of just another arcane caster. But I do mental thingies. We've got charms. I mean, we've got characters over here who can charm you, mind rape you, and do other cool things. I can read your thoughts. So can a wizard. So can a cleric. What are you bringing to the table that's actually different? Mind bullets. Magic missile. It's almost that scene from the Venture Brothers where the wizard and the dad are having an argument over magic and technology, and he's like, oh, I can do this, and he pulls a lighter out. I too can create fire. And
that's pretty funny.
It's a much better scene, but it's kind of funny watching this guy who spent his entire life studying to be a master of the arcane arts, and this guy who's just a scientist who's been going, yeah, I can do that too. I can see far distance. I have a satellite with a camera on it. I can see the future. So can I. I can. Does a spell, casts fire, opens a lighter. And it's like, that's the ultimate wizard versus technology debate. It's like, but the thing is that I'm also an advocate of why isn't there and Pathfinder 2 did this, where you could have a sorcerer who can cast divine magic and a sorcerer who can cast nature magic. So you can have a spontaneous caster who can cast everything without having to go, I love my kitty. My kitty gives me magic. Or I made a deal with Cthulhu and a fairy. Now I've got magic. Dad bombed an angel. Now I've got holy magic. I mean, it's better than, dear God, please let me cast spells today. I don't know. Or the wizard. I have spent 40 years studying in this tower to be able to open a door, knock. I can do it too.
So
But I can do it better. I can do it more than once. Oh shit!
You just use skills.
Oh shit! This guy can open 2 doors. I can't do that without a nap. I have problems with magic because magic is both cool and lame at the same time. Oh God. This is why I like Mage the Ascension far cooler, because you can do shit without having to be like, oh, I'm sorry. I locked my keys in the car. I had to open the door. I need a nap. I locked the door. I need a nap.
Why does this sound like you're targeting me? Sorry.
No, this is D&D shit that I've been making fun of for fucking decades. The idea that you have the lock spell and knock being fucking magic. I made my coffee tasty. I can do that all day. But oh no. Oh no, I need a bit of luck. Well, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm taking a nap. But you did 2 things. Yep, and that is my contractual duty for the rest of the fucking week. And you're like, fuck. But don't worry, everybody else is just as hobbled and lame. I mean, it just is how it is, and it's fun. And I know it's how the game engine works. It's how to get resources and other things. And I know other games have other similar problems, but then you go and play, say, West End games, Star Wars, where I'm going to just be amazing because I'm a Jedi, and I have more than 4 powers. Well, let's be honest, you only have 4 powers because none of us have enough points to be able to buy more than 4 force powers. I have the 3 I start with, and then maybe 1 other power. But I can do that a whole lot, very badly, kind of mediocrely actually, because I only got 2 dice in the skill. Please be patient with me. I'm very wimpy. But that's the price you pay in West End game Star Wars, because you start as kind of a chump, really terrible at everything. But if you can make it past that terrible point and kind of like a wizard, you could be like, yeah, no, I'm going to go pull an aircraft carrier out of a black hole, and that's just what I do for lunch. What are you doing? I'm going to go take the screwdriver and fix the hyperdrive. I can do that too. Boop. I have fixed the hyperdrive. With what? My brain. I have communed with the Force and the midichlorians who are the fuel, the engines of the cells, and that's mitochondria. I don't know. I haven't read the rule book very well, but I have read the Jedi Academy book, and it allows me to fix shit by just putting my hand on it. God, you suck. I'm better than you. Space wizard.
Jesus.
What?
I think he's gonna get broken. Kai keeps going like this. He's gonna break himself.
I played that Star Wars. I've watched this. I've watched our Jedi characters do really insane shit when they've been allowed to, and it's just the point like we're all pretty cool, and then we've had at least 3 Star Wars campaigns make it to higher level where we're actually throwing around 6-7 dice in powers and skills, and then watching our Jedi character pull a lightsaber out and being like, I'm going to go kill an AT-AT now. in Melee. You mean like cut open a hole and then throw a grenade in the thing? That like no, I'm going to just go straight to the legs. And you're like, oh, wait, you can do that? I can do that. Oh shit. And we're having fun. But that's us having fun going, the rules are crap. The rules are fun though. But we've also played other games that have similar crazy things in it. But then I come back to looking at, there's a reason why all of us, is it always funny that we always have this thing where every GM who runs for long enough always comes back to, I want to go to a spell point system. It's funny. We all come to the same conclusion that maybe a mana pool would be far cooler. Maybe there should be ways to recharge that mana pool without having to sit there and jerk off for 8 hours and say, if anyone even looks at me, talks to me, or does anything during my 8 hours of nap, we're all fucked. Now, excuse me, I'm going to go put myself in this tent, the sensory deprivation vault. And if any of you come in here, I will kill you because you have ruined my 8 hours of beauty sleep. I need to commune with my ability to cast a magic missile tomorrow. Fuck off.
Okay, so I use spell points in my game. And something I've been fucking with in my head is how the players, after a certain period, like they don't really need a full 8 hours. They might just need 6.
Yeah.
They got all their spell points back. Make that one of the options for the edges. And then the other one being that if you don't get all your sleep, if you sleep like shit, oh, I got 4 hours of sleep or I got 6 hours of sleep, but I don't have the right build for this. Okay, well, you get half your mana back. That's just it. Half. Max you can ever have is half. But if you get up to like a certain percentage or 6 hours, okay, daylight came and stopped being able to make it to where you can sleep, you get 3/4 of your mana back. Not a complete loss. Not bad, not bad. But I like the idea of giving the players like either half or 3/4 or a quarter of their DMG. I think that's important. Because you need to show them something. And you don't want to be seen as like totally unworkable. You can't be played with. Nope. You want to be seen as somebody that you can work with their players. Go ahead, God.
Six Nations, you were right about the abstract wealth rules have never worked in any game I've ever played that has them. It's just I've got 3 dice in wealth. This is a problem that happens in Exalted. Actually, this is Exalted, and all the Storyteller games have this problem because you can have the wealth stat, wealth perk, and I hate it because it's just simply, well, it costs 3 dots. I don't care because I have 4. I can have infinite 3 dot items because, well, 3 dots just isn't an actual drain on my resources because I'm rich, bitch. And, well, I want to buy a 4 dot item because I have 4 dots of wealth. Well, for the next week, you can't buy another 4 dot item. Oh no, I can't buy a jumbo jet this week. I've already bought a jumbo jet, guys. I can't buy a second one. Wait, what? I'm just wealthy. I'm sorry. And
I thought, wait, what as well?
What was that?
I initially thought, like, wait, what was right as well? Like, wait, you're buying a jumbo jet? What are you doing? What's going on with you?
Oh no, I have 5 dots in wealth, and a jumbo jet costs 5 dots, so I could buy a jumbo jet a week and be just fine. I might buy a Concorde next week and be broke for a month. Well, what are you gonna do with the Concorde? I don't know. I have a fleet of them in my garage. I take one out. I spent 6 months buying them, and now I have a fleet of them in my garage. I collect them. I have one in every color, plus 2 on Sunday. What? Yeah, it's my hobby. And that's the kind of stupid shit I fucking couldn't deal with the abstract wealth rules. And we laughed about that because we had a day where we were sitting around playing with the D20 modern rules back in the. I think we were getting drunk one day and bitching about it, and somebody brought that up, and someone's like, "Well, could I just buy like 100 cars? Like what kind of cars? Like shitty Ford Escorts, like the really cheap econo model subcompacts. And what are you going to do with them? Give them away. To who? Anybody who wants one. I can buy infinite. Now everyone's got a car. I have destabilized the economy. Wait, what? Well, I've got 5 dots in wealth. The Escort's cheap. It's 3. I can get infinite. I can get infinites. These rules are dumb. I know. Isn't it great? The thing was they tried to. The abstract rules were given to us for doing normal things, like buying pistols and weapons and swords were like 1-2 dot items. And if you had a wealth of 4, you could have infinite armors. Within reason, you can't carry them all, but you could just be like, and I go like, man, we're all broke. The one character who has wealth just goes out and buys the party gear at first level because he's got connections and wealth. And now everyone's got fully licensed, fully certified, high-end gear. Nobody's running around with a high point pistol. Everyone's running around with fucking Rugers, or high-end good guns and good equipment. We're all having fun, and we all drive fun, and we all ride around in a Unimog that we imported. It's brand new from the Germans. You can't have one of those in the States. I paid for it. Oh, okay. Watch me go off-road in this awesome super all-terrain vehicle. That's beyond the wealth of what most of us can have. I can afford Mercedes-Benz. I'm rich. And this is the stupidity we had. I had a similar problem, actually, when we were playing a type of war in BattleTech. The party built their characters, and we had the usual string of characters. We had the gritty, our gritty mech pilot, a young buck ace, and then we had our rich noble character, where we calculated it all out. He's the firstborn heir of a minor noble who rules a continent on a world. Now, mind you, BattleTech has 1,000 worlds, and every house has about 300 inhabited worlds. So he's a minor noble. His dad's a minor noble. He's got a title. His dad pays homage to the planetary governor. He's the administrator who runs Europe. And the family just owns a major, not a major company, but they make money doing mining and doing metals refining, and they pay that tithe. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I can afford to lose an archer a year off my allowance. And everyone else is like, what? Yeah, no, I can have an archer, which is a several $1 million item, shot out from underneath me every 30 days, and I can buy a brand new one. I don't care. And we're like, well, we're playing a mercenary unit. Yeah, I'm going to bankroll the entire mercenary unit off of my allowance. So what are we going out for? So what are we going out on actual adventures for? And he's like, beer money. funny money. We're going to go out there and earn the money to do all the fun things that we normally can't do. And the tone of the game changed because he's like, yeah, no, I'm rich. I fucking I have near infinite cash. Now, on the empire scale, he's poor. I mean, he's just a guy who's got, who makes a couple $100 million a year doing fucking nothing, which can get you some nice things, but you can't buy you can't buy a jump ship for $100 million. You can't buy a drop ship for $100 million a year, but he can buy battle mechs by the fucking dozen because those are actually affordable. And he's like, yeah, no, guys, if we lose something, I can afford to replace it. And we're like, wow, we're not really playing the mercenary side of this state game anymore. He goes, nah, we're going to go out and go steal shit. And so they go out and pay a guy to fly him around so they can go fly out, get some beer money, and steal shit. It's like, hey, we heard this guy over here's got some nice stuff. Steal it. And then they'll show up, raid the fuck out of things, blow some shit up, have a battle, and then throw it at the cargo hold, and then go home. Pop some beers, rest, do some refits, and then go out and do it again. Like it became a sport, and it's like, but at that point, that fits that universe where nobles fight wars because they're bored, and they want some more stuff. And it fit, so that campaign worked. But I know that if I did that in a different, with a different group of people, a different game, that wouldn't work. If I'm trying to run a gritty game, and that's why I really don't like the abstract wealth generator. Like, no, money needs to be fucking money. I mean, copper pieces, silver pieces, dollar bills, pennies, quarters, imperial credits, cash needs to be cash.
Agreed.
Rod of God. What? The what? You heard me? God. I've seen players start doing abstract math like that. Well, no, actually real math. Okay, this is going back to 3.0 having problems. The problem with 3.0 is the fact that we have equations for everything, and we can calculate the price for everything down to its actual market, not its market value, its material value. And I had a player create the Rod of God platform. It wasn't quite the orbital tungsten rod thing, but he figured out what the maximum altitude for, I think for levitate was, and he figured out that he could just start dropping 10d6 plus the weight of the item that's being thrown down at the planet at people. So he just literally built a flying platform that just fired large, heavy rods at people from orbit, from near orbit. Which in D&D and most fantasy games, if you're hovering at the death rate, the point where oxygen starts to not be around anymore, and you die, that's might as well be orbit, because most players are looking up and go, can you really see a 50-foot by 50-foot floating square platform? Can you see that from the ground? Probably not. Like, maybe if you're lucky, that thing that's sitting at 20,000 feet, that's 50 foot by 50 foot, you might see the missing pixel before it fires at you. And then continues to fire at you repeatedly until the problem goes away. And because he's like, well, I'm like, well, how do you reload the thing? And he's like, I will, like, and he's, he figured out, the ways to do this and to make it permanent, how to make it float, how to summon the rods, how to shape the rods. Well, you can't shape the rods into anything that's gonna be like really nice, because what we find is it's a temporary object. It's going to go away after I throw it at the planet. It needs to last for 2 minutes. And I don't care if it looks like a shitty rod. I don't care with the aerodynamics, because it's going to do 10d6 plus fall damage plus weight. Thump, thump, throwing pillars at the plant. It's being create matter, shape matter, create, load, drop. And he had this whole thing figured out. And he's like, no, I just sit there and then I use a magic mirror and I call the guy and say, begin bombardment. And then suddenly you watch the platform move and then begin to just hit things repeatedly till problem goes away or the mountain goes away because you do enough damage that even rock goes away. And you start pounding shit into dust. I'm like, dear God, you created the Rod from God platform. He's like, yes. And I have a price tag. I can afford this. Oh, fuck. Okay. This is by the rules with D&D. No magic. Like, no stupid magic. No high technology. No tungsten. Nothing like this. This is just simply shooting iron rods at the planet repeatedly until problem goes away. This says it's a conjured metal, it goes away. And I'm like, dear fucking God, this is right there with Peasant Railgun. It's a little bit more expensive, but he's like, this is my ultimate weapon. Fuck yeah. But anyway, can we... I need to use the restroom, so I'm gonna call it. I wrap this up because we're past midnight.
Yeah, it's actually past midnight.
Yes, Raytheon Sky Boulders. I definitely love Raytheon.
Yeah, me too. Raytheon is amazing. Thank you so much for helping us in War on Terror.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now, we're going to be back here. Kai, final question, revisiting tonight's purpose of episode. Does the post 2000s D&D 3.0 game, does it force GMs down a path they don't want to go, or does it make games possibly fun again? What is it?
To end things up here, I think it makes the game fun, but it made the game fun in a different way. And I don't think it's inherently terrible, but it made things way too easy to be lazy with. And we had to work harder due to the fact that we had shittier tools in the earlier editions. It made us better GMs because we had to know what the fuck we were doing. Now you can just open up a goddamn calculator, do the math, and the thinking's done for you. Is it better? Yes. Kind of smoother engine, better running things, game fucking runs quick, but it gave us a shittier product. I kind of want Planescape from second edition back. That's where I want to go back to. Brutal honesty.
Okay. One of the few people I hear talk about Planescape too. I like Planescape. I did. I really enjoyed it.
Great concept.
I owe Dead Gods a big thanks, because Dead Gods was one of the sources of inspiration for the Slumbering Tsar saga. Both books feature Orcus, which is asleep, and minions taking over for him in the interim. All right, that's our show. 2 weeks from now, we'll be back. No idea what our topic's going to be. I'll throw the link out there in the chat so you guys can come on in, fight over it, talk to us about whatever. Is there any questions you had for us? Go ahead and let us know in the comment section. Appreciate you all being here. I hope you guys had a great night. Have a great Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow for Bruce and Janet's A Girl and Guy in a Movie, as we review the film Played Missing for Me. Thank you.